Titanic, 10 actors who could have been casted as Jack. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Every Hollywood actor wants to work with James Cameron. Titanic was no different. In fact, there were so many now A-list actors who were then unknowns desperately trying to work their way into that title. Whether they lost out to Leonardo DiCaprio, turned the role down due to scheduling conflicts, or rejected the role simply because they didn't like it, there were certainly some curious frontrunners for the role of Jack Dawson. Let's take a look at some big names who could have played the role alongside Rose. Chris O'Donnell. Did you know Chris O'Donnell was one of the frontrunners for the role of Jack Dawson in Titanic? At the time, O'Donnell wasn't known for much outside of his role of Dick Grayson in Batman Forever. However, unfortunately, it was reportedly the box office failure of Batman and Robin that kept him from getting the role of Jack. And while that isn't exactly fair, as he wasn't the sole reason the movie was so negatively received in Hollywood, that's sometimes just the way the cards fall. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was possibly the most in-demand actor working in Hollywood in the 90s, so it only makes sense that he was shortlisted to star in one of the most expensive movies of all time. Not many people say no to James Cameron, but it was Johnny Depp who actually turned down the role of Jack simply because he didn't like it. Depp told Howard Stern that he struggled to get through the 180-page script, saying that he labored through it. But he also may have been too old, as he's a whole 12 years older than DiCaprio, and though Depp still looked young for his age at the time, he simultaneously looked old enough to be playing an undercover FBI agent at the time, as he starred in Donnie Brasco the same year. Christian Bale. Long before Christian Bale became known for gaining and losing weight for his leading roles, and way before producers and directors approached him to star in their movies, he often had to battle it out with DiCaprio for roles. As DiCaprio was an unstoppable force at the time, Christian Bale kept losing out to the Titanic star so much that he grew envious, and he called DiCaprio his nemesis, and one of those roles was Jack Dawson. To make things worse for the actor was the reasoning Cameron gave to Bale about why he wasn't a right fit. The director didn't want two British actors playing Americans in lead roles, as Kate Winslet was already cast as Rose. Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is another actor who narrowly missed out on playing Jack, but just like Billy Crudup, Hawke is relieved he never got the part, as he said that watching DiCaprio in the role was like watching a Beatle, saying that every woman wanted to fuck him and every guy wanted to fight him. Titanic would have been a big break for Hawke, as before 1997, he had never had much of a leading role except for the low-budget romantic drama Before Sunrise. However, his biggest movie up to that point was released the same year as the Titanic, titled Gattaca. Unfortunately, it bombed at the box office. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was practically offered the leading role in every movie that was in development in the 90s, and at one point studio execs even wanted to exchange the name of being John Malkovich to being Tom Cruise. There have even been so many roles that have been specifically written for Cruise only for him to turn them down, and though the role of Jack wasn't specifically written with Cruise in mind, he came very close to starring in the movie. But as he was already an established star in the mid-90s, his asking price was simply too high. River Phoenix. After starring in Stand By Me and blowing audiences away at such a young age, playing young Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, and being one of the youngest actors to ever be nominated for an Academy Award, River Phoenix sadly passed away at the age of 23. It's rumored that when Cameron first started conceptualizing Titanic, he wanted to build the cast around River Phoenix as Jack, and if Phoenix had never passed away in October of 1993, it's extremely likely that it would have been him in the role and not DiCaprio. Brad Pitt. There were a lot of roles that Brad Pitt was almost cast, and most shocking of all is that Pitt was almost cast as Willy Wonka in Tim Burton's remake, but he also came close to securing his place on the RMS Titanic 2. Interestingly enough, it wasn't just Pitt who was in the running for Jack, but his then-wife, Jennifer Aniston, was considered for the role of Rose as well. And being the funny man that he is, Pitt hilariously mentioned that he would have shared the raft in his 2020 Golden Globe speech, given the controversy that there was enough room for Jack on the raft that Rose was lying on. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin is easily the youngest actor on the short list, as he would have been 17 then when the movie was released. However, casting actors are all based on how bankable they are, and at the time, Culkin was one of the most famous kids on the face of the earth. It's hard to imagine Culkin in the role, but it would have done wonders for his career, as even to this day, 30 years after the fact, Culkin is still mainly known as the actor who played the annoying Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. Well, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching.